Hello, everyone. Welcome to Versus Court, episode 2 of August 21st. Uh, Alhar has very graciously agreed to do 2 in 1 day, so we're going to have a fun time. Today, we will be talking about Princess Peach, one of the most iconic video game characters ever. And this is a matchup that I like to think I helped the pitcher kind of fine tune a little bit because I'm actually a pretty big fan of it. Versus Maria Renard from Castlevania. Excuse me, I'm burping. I'm disgusting. I like this matchup a lot, and we kind of get into the specifics of what's cool about it as we get into this matchup. I just think like Maria's kind of a lesser known video game icon when compared to someone like Peach. But I think like she is very comparable just in terms of status as a video game character. So I think that'll be fun to talk about.
Sure.
I, as per usual, am your host, Santi Sherm. I will be representing Maria Renard. With me today, co-debater, we have Kai.
I'm back. It's only been a couple hours. Not like an hour.
It's been like 1 hour, yes? Alright. We have Versus. Also, you were in the last cast too, right?
Yeah, I've just sat in the call waiting because I was like, I ate during that cast. So straight up, I didn't even leave. I didn't leave my chair. Everyone else did. I just sat here alone.
And we have the always lovely, always reliable Comet.
Hello.
This will be a fun one. I'd be curious for the people in chat and for you three. How much have y'all heard of Maria Renard? And if you have, how much do you know about her?
Yes, I've heard of her. Not too much. Like I know basics about the series, but not enough to know about her that much.
Do either of you two know anything about Maria Renard?
I might have heard her name in passing, but not enough to actually remember anything. I'm very casual when it comes to Castlevania.
I have heard her name, and the only Castlevania media I've ever interacted with is Dracula and Dead by Daylight, and I've played, I think I beat Symphony of the Night.
Well,
But
Maria's in that one.
I don't remember 99% of the game.
What about Smash Bros? You ever touched that?
Is she in?
She's
Smash
a spirit
No,
in Smash Bros.
no, I just meant Castlevania as a whole.
Oh yeah, I guess Smash Bros. I know some Castlevania from that.
And then we'll be having an informative cast today. We kind of just want to jump right in. Dee, would you like to go first with your 60 seconds, or would you rather? I think you should go first.
I can go first.
All right. Give your 60-second spiel on why Princess Peach wins.
All right. Princess Peach Toadstool, a damsel no longer. She has been on the adventure for a lot longer than I think people realize. She's had her own game, but even before that, way back in the day, she was joining Mario on his adventures across the land. She has been alongside him, gathering power-ups, gaining experience, gaining her own new magical power systems. She is a child of... I'm forgetting the name of it now off the top of my head, and I look stupid. She... one of the 7 star children, that's it. She has the heart magic to counter Bowser, and according to game theory, is the mother of Rosalina. But she has plenty of her own stuff that we haven't seen in quite a while, but she's got quite a lot going for her here.
I see that Alfie Mations has some foreknowledge. Did Saul spoil my secret 60-second video by flashing it on screen at some point during last cast?
No.
Oh, so it might have been up. Might have. I don't remember seeing it, but you might have been paying more attention.
I don't need the 60-second timer because I have a video that will do my 60 seconds for me.
I see.
This is all you need to know for why Maria Renard wins. That's the coolest shit ever. Wait, what's this?
Maria.
That's why Maria Renard wins.
Damn.
Just aura. That's my first argument.
I mean, I can't argue that was hard as shit. Like, that was legitimately cool as fuck. Do I need to watch Castlevania?
It's a very good show, yes. I will not be talking about the show much, because number one, it's much weaker than the games, and Maria in particular is pretty different. But that is how her powers work. She is an animal summoner, and it's pretty cool. Now that I've displayed my aura farming argument, I can actually explain a little bit about who Maria Renard is, since people here may not be as familiar. So Castlevania is a game where Dracula, usually there's a recurring element where every 100 years Dracula will show back up. His castle will be conjured out of nothing and start plaguing the land, and a vampire hunter, usually a Belmont, has to go to the castle, Doomslayer style, one-man army, just take him down. And that's just kind of the regular formula for the most part. Rondo of Blood is the first game that has Maria in it. And I think this is one of the first games that kind of gives slightly more in-depth storytelling, where someone kidnaps Maria to use their magical power to resurrect Dracula. Richter, and for context, this wasn't like just some schmuck that kidnapped Maria. This was like the secondary antagonist that in this game would be like right below Dracula for the most part in terms of prevalence. Richter saves Maria in like one of the earliest parts of the game. Something I know about Rondo of Blood is it's the type of game that you can beat in like an hour if you know what you're doing, but there's a lot of exploration, so you can play it for exponentially longer than... You just get Men in Black all Are you good over there?
What happened?
Just like you just got the blue screen of brightness.
Sorry, I tabbed over to something real quick.
It was so vibrant and bright. Yeah. Anyway, Maria in this case is roughly 12. I have a picture to show off what Maria looked like in her first game, because Maria's design actually varies pretty greatly. So this is Maria in Rondo of Blood. Castlevania has gone through various art styles, and at this point they were kind of experimenting with kind of a more anime style. That'd be like from the 90s. So kind of like Berserk, JoJo, Ranma, that kind of anime style. And they have a lot of animations in the game kind of in that style. You, as Richter, rescue Maria, and you think that Maria's just a damsel. And Maria's like, no, I'm not. And then, like, well, I think the conversation goes, like, I'm gonna help you fight Dracula. And then Richter, the adult man's like, yeah, sure you are, kid, go home. And then she summons a motherfucking dragon. And it's like, all right, we can work something out. put the dragon away. Maria's main ability is she can summon the 4 guardian spirits, which, if you know anything about, I believe this is a concept throughout a lot of Eastern folklore, but it's like the dragon, the tiger, the turtle, and the cardinal.
Mhm.
Like the 4 holy beasts of like. I'm not super informed, but it's like it's a mythological thing. But yeah.
Okay.
So that is her main ability. Uh, I could just kind of go into the main thing she can do is she's a magic user, but she primarily summons animals.
Okay.
That was in Rondo of Blood. The next time we see her is in Symphony of the Night. And in Symphony of the Night, they change the art style pretty significantly. We go from the anime style to like a very artsy style.
Mhm.
That's probably like the most well-known art style for Castlevania in general. Maria is a playable character in some versions of Symphony of the Night. She's grown older now. She's a far more experienced and competent vampire hunter. This will be what we're using in the fight for the most part. This is like peak Maria. And I just, because I did a lot of research, so I want to show off the various aspects of Maria. They eventually remade Rondo of Blood in a game called the Dracula X Chronicles, and this was how they made Maria look in this one. This is the same Maria as the first Maria I showed, except it's like the reboot design. That's a lot
Mhm.
more faithful to like the aesthetic they went going with. They ended up going with for Castlevania going forward. So this would be much more in line with the green Maria we just saw and like the animated version that we saw in my 60-second argument. There is one more version of Maria I'll touch on, which is in the Judgment fighting game, which was the character designs were made by the Death Note mangaka. This is what Maria looked
Hmm.
like in the fighting game. A bit of a departure, a bit of a difference, but this is still Maria. So when I bring
Mhm.
up scans of this person, this is still Maria, despite looking very different.
Yes, the owl's locked in a cage.
This owl is a menace, let me tell you.
Mhm.
I didn't know that there was a fighting game.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a 3D Soul Calibur style fighting
Mm.
game. Uh,
And it's drawn by the guy who did Death Note. What?
yeah, so Death Note got real popular. So Castlevania was like, "Hey, can you like do character designs for like a fighting game?" And he was like, "I'll do. I like money." And so
Mhm.
he worked
Yeah,
on the art design for the game Castlevania Judgment.
that's crazy.
Who
That
doesn't
Also
that's
like
fits.
money?
that's the long and short of Maria. Something I'd like to specify about Maria is that she is like better than Richter by a
Mhm.
significant margin.
Oh,
She's literally. I'm on easy mode because Maria is literally the easy mode of Rondo of Blood. The developers were like, we want to give Richter for the people that like the traditional Castlevania experience, but we also made Maria so that it's a bit more accessible for younger people or someone that doesn't like the challenging aspect as much, because that was a complaint they got a lot, was their games were too hard.
yeah.
Maria is so much more agile and fast than Richter. Richter, he's mobile, but he's like very Castlevania style, where like the shoulders are hunched and they're doing this as like the walk cycle as he's
Right.
making his way through the castle. Maria plays like you're playing Mega Man X. She can like slide. She has like a double jump. In a later game, she has a triple jump, which is important to know because Belmont has never had a double jump before Maria. Maria introduced the double jump to this game. She can control herself in the air better than the Belmonts can. With the Belmonts, you usually have to like just know where the jump will go before you do it. But Maria, like a lot of other platformers, has a bit of control of herself in the air. So it's just a much easier to like dodge. She's actually just blatantly like faster when like running and walking. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like narratively, she is faster than Richter and much better at that kind of thing. And that's why I just wanted to explain the on easy mode part of my subtitle. So I have a lot of scans. I could talk about Maria for a long time. The first thing I'd like to talk about with Maria is actually I'll talk about one thing first, and then I'll pass it to you, which is that Maria has magic, and all of her magic is like there are things called attributes in Castlevania, which is like fire damage, lightning damage, cold damage, bludgeoning damage, that kind of thing for different types of attacks you can put out and take. All of Maria's magic has a secondary aspect called Holy, which is basically like if you resist the normal element, this is like a holy version of it, so it's like gets through resistances for the most part. And I also like to say holy damage. If anyone has ever seen the anime, when a Belmont whips a vampire with their whip, when the whip makes contact with the vampire, there's like a big orange welt where the whip hit, and then they explode. People think that's like a anime only thing, but it is actually kind of how it works in Castlevania, because when you whip something with a monster, it does like poof, which based on the anime, that's quite literal. And we can also see in the comics this happens when someone hits you with a holy weapon. I have a panel for it. You kind of just explode. So it's kind of like the holy element is kind of just like the explode element. Like when you stab someone with a holy sword, they just like they uncreate themselves. So it's like holy magic is very potent. The next thing I'll talk to after All Hearts had a chance to say some stuff is I'll go over all of Maria's various animals, because there's a ton of different types of animals to talk about that'll be helping Maria in the fight.
All right. So Peach is pretty straightforward in like the base of it, but there's quite a lot to cover here as well. So Peach is quite sporty. She's gotten a lot of different sports games, kart games, also all sorts of BS. Can you bring up? As you know, don't bring that up yet. So she's much more of a mix of how she fights, because she's got a mix of really good like physicals as well as a lot of magic to go over. And all right, so now actually, can you bring up what did I name it? Shit. Can you bring up Super Smash Brothers? I think it's Super Smash Brothers.
I will bring up Super Smash Brothers.
So Smash Bros is it's pretty simple. Giving her turnips to use and throw. She attacks with her hip. Got a little toad guy to help her deflect attacks, stuff like that. And then more recently, can you bring up costumes? In a more recent solo game, she had a bunch of different costumes granted to her by the fairy Stella, which gives her all sorts of different weapons and skills. She is with these, she becomes a master martial artist, thief, master of disguise, sword fighter, all sorts of different things with all sorts of different equipment. She gets kunai, swords, the ability to I'm sorry, I was distracted by someone in chat.
I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't either. But the ability to highlight clues, the ability to I keep getting distracted by people bringing up. Now someone's bringing up an argument already.
What?
Literally melt into the shadows. And while yes, there is people will say yes, it was just a play. She is granted this magic. This is an actual magic granted to her by Stella. It's called Shimmer Magic. But she's got all sorts of stuff like that. I'll wait to go into magic and once we go into powers later.
I would like to ask if any of these are combat relevant, because they all kind of just look like very specific for like. This almost looks like more of like a puzzle solving costume situation than like. Well, obviously, like the sword fighter and the ninja, I can like guess, and the master fighter, but like, are any of the other ones going to be relevant besides those ones?
So, sword fighter, disguise, and fighter are definitely the most relevant. That being said, master thief is able to steal items and like meld into the shadows, and master singer is able to hypnotize. Master skater and master chef. I just kind of threw those. I wanted to throw them all up there.
Fair enough.
Master Cowgirl could potentially have some merits, just being really skilled with the lasso.
Does she have like a horse she rides? Because Maria also has a horse, so we could have like a horse riding moment in the fight.
She does not, but she does. One thing she does do is she can use her lasso to take things to ride. So she could end up taking one of Maria's animals with the lasso. She does it a lot in the game of taking different creatures with the lasso to ride them.
Would that work? Like, wouldn't the animal still be under her control, though?
So, there's a variety of animals Maria controls. There are some that are like her friends and personal homies, and then there's some that are just like magical constructs she's made. She can also just like unsummon them.
Okay.
Well, actually, in the anime, which I'm not gonna focus too hard on because it's a kind of a different version, but they do go back into portals. It's never established, I think, what happens if someone else goes into the portal. But I could argue maybe if Peach like tries to ride on the tiger just goes back to its like summon dimension and just BFRs Peach into the the out of bounds. I don't think that's legit because it doesn't work like that in the games, but that would be funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think like Maria's like tiger, which would be like the most like rideable looking option, would just like unless it has like some kind of weird mind control properties, like the tiger is Maria's homie, so it would kind of just like attack Peach if she tried that.
Okay.
It bucks her
So,
off.
so it might work for some of them, but the ones that are more specifically homies, probably not.
It would work on very few of them, I would say. And I guess this is a good time to talk about the various animals Maria has. So I'm gonna bring up a lot of stuff. So this is a tangent time. So let's talk about some of the animals Maria has. Maria, in Castlevania, there's a lot of people doing bats. So Maria has learned how to summon bats. This is an example where it's not really like a homie thing. This is like a spell summoning attack she's learned. She summons and throws bats at people.
Hell yeah.
These bats can explode.
What?
So, they can. It's kind of like the Green Goblin. The boomerangs that are shaped like bats are actually explosives. These bats can explode on you when they get to you. But also, there is a variation of them that will specifically can drain the life from you. So that could be something that could be interesting, is like a bunch of bats swarm. You ever played BioShock Infinite and you throw like the crows at someone? Imagine it's that, but with bats. And so there's a bunch of bats swarming Peach, and they're like sucking the life out of her. I could argue if the green mushrooms are life, then maybe the bats could consume the green mushroom lives out of Peach. I think that so yeah, bats are like, that's not like her main thing, but it feels like a good place to start for the Castlevania character. I'll skip ahead a little bit to start with like her main weapon. You know how like Belmonts have like the whip, how like they throw everywhere. Maria's equivalent to the whip is a bird. So she has, in some games it's a dove, some games it's an owl, but she throws a bird out and it like kind of like goes out to attack and comes back kind of at the same range and distance a Belmont whip would go. If you remember the 60-second segment, you kind of saw how that would be used more lore-wise, where it's just birds flying around attacking people. But they are, like, very fast. It's not like Maria's, like, helpless without the birds. Like, she's jumping around and, like, using the birds as if they're, like, a melee weapon with how fast they're shot out.
Yeah.
What else should I say about the birds? So these birds can do like a charge attack with Maria. She can like grab onto a bird and like charge through like she's the Juggernaut with like an aura of like fiery energy, which could be very helpful. She can also something I quite appreciate is there was a mobile game that came out that was the Grimoire. What's the mobile game called? It's like the Grimoire of Souls or something. Anyway, it gave Maria a bunch of variations of different types of birds she could equip and get to know. One of my favorites is the bird that apparently has a military background. Sarge is the veteran of the Dove Rebellions. Walks the warrior's path in search of a worthy foe. So it's a variation.
Where's that game?
It is the Grimoire of Souls, so I was right. I said it correctly. Yeah. A lot of people didn't like the mobile game for very fair Konami reasons, but I think the contents of the game had some pretty fun stuff in it.
Okay.
So that's like the bird. That's like the main thing. The birds fly around, and she uses the birds to defend herself. Another thing she has is the cat. The cat is one of her main weapons. Look at that thing go. That's a fast motherfucker. Yeah, so she throws a cat at someone. This cat does a lot of damage. It's a very dangerous cat. This cat has done damage to Alucard before. Don't want to mess with it. This is like the longer range attack generally. It'll run and get after you. And like the bird, the mobile game gave the cat a couple of variations. This is a cat that provides Maria with supernatural luck because it is actually a fey fairy in the form of a cat. So that's pretty cool. There's also another cat that's a robot, which I thought was quite fun. But no, I've replaced it with the same image I just showed. The robot cat, as we can see right here. Yeah, this cat is a high-spec combat robot, cunningly disguised as a regular cat. Not disguised very well based on the picture, I will say. But it specifies that it contains an unnecessarily large amount of firepower, which is very fun. Something about these cats that we gotta talk about is that...
The Catinator.
The Catinator. And these animals, like I said, are the spells, so all the animals aren't just, like, normal animals that would deal, like, piercing damage. They are all, like, holy animals that can, like, do holy explosive damage. And in Grimoire of Darkness, we get a lot of variations of different types of cats. So we have electric cats, which are what's usually used in the games, or the main games. In the mobile game, we get ice cats, fire cats, dark cats. Yeah, it's similar to the birds. The birds also have that. We have lightning birds that can inflict, like, shock, which is, like, kind of Pokemon paralysis. We have, like, fiery birds that can inflict burn, which is, like, the Pokemon burn. We have dark birds that are imbued with the dark element. Very good, very good. There's the other animal that would be important to note for this is the dragon. Like, we kind of saw the dragon before, but the dragon is very cool. We have a smaller version of the dragon. Just kind of sends it out to fuck shit up. Now, in the games, you can usually only send out one dragon at a time. That's not lore supported. In the lore, you can send out multiple dragons in the boss fight for Maria. She sends out like 3 dragons at once, and there's not really a specific limit on like these animals. So it's not like she has to keep switching between animals. She can send like the dragon and the cat and the birds at you all at the same time. This is the smaller version of the dragon. Then we have the larger version, which would be Maria's item crash. Just kind of just like you use more energy to do a bigger version of it, and it's just like this massive dragon that comes and eats everything. It summons electricity. It's very cool. We also saw the aura version in the 60-second intro. These dragons are very cool. Usually they have like the ice attribute. We have, for another type of animal, we have the she has a horse. Like I said, I don't need to throw up the image for that. I think y'all know what a horse is. So we need to talk about this penguin. This is actually a video game reference to a different video game. This is
Club Penguin.
This is Penta the Penguin from hit game Antarctic Adventure. All my homies love Antarctic Adventure. Antarctic Adventure was so beloved, I couldn't find any information on it when I tried. But allegedly, this is like a video game series with many games in it, and at one point, the penguins get guns. So if this is that one, then Maria can summon penguins that are packing heat. So that's good to know.
The bird wars
are
now forming. It makes sense.
If anyone has heard of Antarctic Adventure and has some context for us in the chat, that would be appreciated. We also have, like I said, I got a lot of animals, and I want to just kind of show them all off. There's the normal birds, but there's also like a specific fire bird that can like pick Maria up, and this one actually has to load. I tried to get a lot of the gifts to be small, but some of them could not be as small as I want it to be. But basically, what we're gonna see eventually is this just kind of burns the fuck out of everything on screen. Oh wait, no, I do have a smaller version of the GIF. I just grabbed the big one because I was being silly. The smaller version of the GIF is... Okay, so I have 100 images to go through. So some of it gets a little lost in the sauce. I think, here it is. This is the one that's actually like loads decently fast because it looks like shit, but it loads so y'all can see it faster. This bird picks up Maria, and she's kind of indestructible in this form, video game mechanic wise, and she just like pelts the entire screen with fire and clears everything. When I tested this GIF, it loaded in like 5 seconds, so this is a little embarrassing for me right now. The best laid plans. It's gonna be totally not worth it when it loads. The buildup is not worth it in the slightest. But I've gotta keep talking until this GIF show. All right, there we go. There we go. See, it just
shit.
Shoots the fuck out of everything. There you go. Yeah, the Firebird. This one, like I said, mostly fire. There's the fire. The tiger. The tiger is similar to the cat, except it's a tiger instead of a cat, so it's much larger. This is the thing that you would, I guess we could argue Peach would try to lasso, but it's a very
Ava.
It's a very cool tiger. Beyond the tiger, we also have the turtle. And you know a thing or two about turtles based on what I've seen you talk about earlier today.
Yes, I do.
She uses turtles primarily as a defensive item. One of my favorite utilizations of the turtle summon is using it like a Beyblade of Death, where she summons it and it just like tears across the screen and like just fucks everything up. It's pretty cool.
Beyblade, let it rip.
Yeah. There's also the turtle is one of the more versatile things. Like it has like the turtle infamous things turtle can do is the black hole attack, where the turtle shows up and creates a black hole, And what this black hole does is it sucks away your soul and gives the health to Maria. So it's the soul, as everyone knows, the infamous soul-sucking black hole that all turtles can do.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgot to bring that up in TMNT versus
Yeah,
Ninjago.
you really should have. It might have helped you out a little bit. We'll have a bonus cast where it's just this turtle versus the TMNT later. The turtle can be
We'll go to
summoned.
hell again.
The turtle can be summoned to just like heal Maria. So like Maria just uses the power of the turtle to heal herself. As we all know, this is a thing all turtles can do. One of my favorite moves in the fighting game is Maria just summons the turtle to crush you like a giant boulder. It's very funny. But yeah, she just like it's like this would be like the Mario ground pound attack. We also have
Bowser down special.
Yeah, the Bowser down special. Peach has never dealt with a turtle trying to crush her from on high. That's never happened before. But there's also the most prevalent usage for it is just as a defensive measure. Maria can summon the turtle as like a little AoE shield. It's very effective. It blocks pretty much everything. She can also use a more mobile version where she kind of just summons it in front of her and can like, yeah, it's very helpful. These are all very helpful animals for her. She can use these animals all at the same time to fight very creatively. Yeah, so that's more or less the majority of animals she can summon. But it's
All right.
She's got a whole menagerie on her side that's gonna be tricky to deal with. Because like I said, it's not one at a time. Lore wise, she can summon a shit ton of these motherfuckers. So Peach will be dealing with like 3 dragons and 3 tigers and like fucking a whole murder of crows. Not crows, doves. Multiple turtles. Well, Maria's going to jump Peach with the amount of the toads will stand no chance.
All right. Well, I guess now is as good a time as any. We're going to talk about the items. So, can you bring up items 1?
Items 1.
We got a lot to talk about here, so this is gonna be a little bit of a rant.
How dare you take time to talk about a lot of different things a character has?
I know. I'm ruining the cast now. So, across the different media that Peach has taken part in, we've gotten a lot. So we've got growing after being depowered, boomerangs, bubbles that can trap foes, cannons, elephant. The ability to turn into a ground, making up to 5 different copies with the double cherry. Extra speed and coins, throwing fire, disguising, skate, the ice skate, and that light down there that can kill ghosts. Still don't know how that works. Can you move to items 2?
Yes.
So those are a lot of the basic ones. But items 2. We've got the ability to being propelled into the sky with the propeller block, Tanuki and Cat. We've also got the stopwatch, which can just stop time. We've got the power stars, which make Peach invincible. The giant mushrooms, which makes her giant and invincible. The Tanuki, the golden Tanuki leaf, which makes her an invincible Tanuki. That, unlike the Power Star, doesn't have a time limit. You've got the metal invincible cap, which she has used. I found out to turn into Metal Peach, which is also invincible. Can throw ice. Has the frog suit and has the gold flower, which can just turn anything into gold. Just straight up gold. Just gold coins. I called it Midas. I don't know if I spelled that right.
You did not, but it's all right.
How do you spell it?
I think it's AS at the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, phooey. All right. Can you go to items 3?
Yes.
She's got all. It's a Mario character. There's so many items.
It's all good.
We've got the ability to be teeny. We've got the flying squirrel and penguins, we've got multiple ways to steal items. The ability to disguise as Bowser, electric traps, ink blinds, bombs, vampire bats that steal items, springs that can launch them away, tornado that can launch Maria away. Can you go to items 4?
Wait, I have a question about the Bowser disguise thing. So does she just become Bowser, or is it just like a full-blown outfit, or like?
It is disguise only, so she looks exactly like Bowser, but it's just a disguise.
Okay, it's like a rubber suit basically that she puts on. Also, if she puts the penguin outfit on, would the other penguins with the guns get confused and think that she's one of them?
Maybe.
So the thing is that these penguins, from what I understand, the goal is to save a princess. I have not been able to find out if it's a human princess or a penguin princess, but I feel like they would have the knowledge that this penguin is an enemy and they will open fire.
Okay.
Items number 4, you said.
Items number 4.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot more.
Derailed that.
We've got her heart item, which protects her from attacks. The lightning, which can shrink. The shockwave. We've got the blue shell. We've got the absorb mushroom, which absorbs energy and physical based attacks. We've got frying pans. We've got golf clubs. We've got the metal pan. We've got the blue virus, which she can use to make someone see after images and blur their vision. All sorts of healing items. She's got the beating stick down there, otherwise known as Parry the Parasol, as well as different drinks to give endless magic. But I do love fuck you specifically.
It's a good move.
What? How would that work in a fight?
She'd just throw it and it would hit Maria. It would go after Maria.
Oh, okay. I get.
I think
Yeah,
the
it's just,
turtle shell would be able to block the turtle shell because it protects from pretty much anything in the game.
But it would specifically seek her out because that's just
Okay.
how that
That's
works.
fair, but-
She'd be in first place.
I want to wait to go into magic, but I do want to go into 2 specific things. Can you bring up where did it go? First, can you bring up freeze frame? So this is an ability from Mario Strikers, which she uses the ability and these appear on the ground, and anyone caught in the photos freezes in time for a few seconds.
Interesting.
So that's a big one. And then the other one that I want to bring up, because this isn't quite magic, it's part of her abilities from a game that, as much as I don't like it, I gotta bring it up. Can you bring up Vibe Scepter is still stupid?
The stream gets taken down.
So after being touched by the Vibe Scepter, she gained powers based on her different emotions, giving her the ability to make tornadoes, an invincible flame aura, or shake the ground when she jumps. When she's overly sad, she runs faster and she cries a ridiculous amount that can actually flood entire valleys. And when she is nice and just happy, she's able to regen HP. Unfortunately, this I decided not to touch too much onto this game for a lot of reasons. But these are some pretty important powers for her. Specifically, I would say the regenerating HP over time and being able to get the flame aura, which is a bit of a invincible aura that things aren't able to really get past. That's about it for my items.
I think I could kind of go into Maria's resistances here. Because here's
Okay.
the thing. In Castlevania, there's this conception that, like, they're humans that, like, are way weaker than everyone else, but they, like, use skill and strategy to win the day. That couldn't be further from the truth with Castlevania. Maria is like a magical being that is incredible. Number one, the stats is crazy, but that's something we talk about way later. But
Right.
also, like, she inherently does not have like normal human weaknesses. And there's a couple of good examples I want to bring up when talking about that. But first, I just kind of want to bring up some of the armors that she can equip as of the um, Grimoire of Souls mobile game. The first thing I like to bring up is she can wear Death's robe, like the Grim Reaper, which I don't think is gonna be super helpful. I just think this is like aura points when you rock up with the Grim Reaper's robe wrapped around yourself. That's just like I feel like that gets me some bonus points just for like having some sauce.
Yeah.
But some good stuff here is she has a ring that makes you just completely immune to burn, which is helpful against maybe like the fire flower or something like that. She has a arm. This is a little silly, but she has a padded helmet, which is very good in the game. That makes you immune to like any kind of dizzy effect that like confuses you or disorients you. So this may just look like a fancy gym wrestling helmet, but it's unironically very strong and very helpful. She also has she has a couple different items that give her like frozen resistance. This one I think is particularly cool because it's bracers that are like actually imbued with the soul of a soldier that will protect you from the cold. That gives you like resistance to cold. But also on top of that, for even more cold resistance, she just has a nice Gucci mink jacket that will keep her warm. This gives a similar degree of cold protection as the undead entity, which I thought was funny. Just a very good cloak. Like I don't know if you needed to die for this. We can just go to Macy's. There's also she has Revolver Ocelot's beret. I don't know why she has this, but she does have this, which I thought was very funny. So hey, again, just styling. I wanted to throw that in there for fun. She has she has rubber boots. You know, classic comic books logic. Oh, I'm wearing these rubber boots, so I'm now immune to electrical attacks. So this could protect Maria from the lightning, which might sound a little silly, but she's dealing with magical lightning from absurdly powerful demon lords, and these rubber boots do the job. So I think we could argue they would do similarly good against the magical lightning effect here. We also have the these. I thought these. I wanted to bring up these two specifically. It's very funny because I want to talk about the mechanics of how the game works. Maria can equip an armor called Motherly Love, which is she sacrificed herself for the people and watches over Alucard even now. This is Alucard's motherly love that Maria can equip. And what's very funny is that if you look at Alucard's shield, there is an effect on the right called Dampier, attack rate up. What that effect means is that only Alucard can equip this weapon. This is like, only Alucard's allowed to do this. Alucard's dead mother's love does not have this restriction. Anyone can equip Alucard's dead mom's love. So Maria can equip. She is not allowed to have his shield, but she can have his mother's love. So that's a pretty solid protection. This gives you resistance to like slow effects. I wanted to bring that up. She also, another good thing is that she has these gloves that can protect from sword attacks. So we saw that Peach has the sword outfit. Maria has these gloves that are specifically used to deflect sword strikes, which would be pretty helpful in a situation such as this. But that's just like the passive things, and these can like stack with each other, so we're good on that front. Maria also has healing items. You know, everyone's seen the joke of like some weird hobo eating a turkey out of the garbage in Castlevania, but it's like
Yeah.
real. I'm gonna bring up. See, this looks like a web comic that someone just made making fun of Castlevania. This is official art. This was in the Castlevania magazine. Yeah,
What?
yeah, Maria will just eat food, and it doesn't have to be special items. It can be damn near any food in the world. She carries lollipops. These lollipops restore her health and her magic. Um, and something very now here's something that's very interesting about this specific series combo is Castlevania characters just gobble up everything. I wish I had thought to bring this, but Maria can eat a cake that is bigger than her in like a frame, which is just kind of a crazy feat in its own right. And if we're in Peach's castle, there's damn sure going to be some cake in the vicinity for Maria to munch on.
You don't know that she's been baking.
Hey, well, hold on. The baking outfit was brought up earlier.
The baking outfit was brought up, which is going to be Peach's biggest mistake. But also, something very interesting is that mushrooms are an item that you can just gobble up and eat in Castlevania. Castlevania characters eat any food that is lying around, and they get power from it. If Maria sees mushrooms, she's going for them. So I'm saying she might snatch up Peach's special mushrooms and take those powers on herself. I think that would be a genuine strategy on Maria's part. Is she's going to be gobbling up any mushroom she comes across and gaining any power from that. So I wanted to add that in as a potential interaction here. Because that's what Castlevania characters be doing. They be rocking up to Dracula's house and they be taking all his food like they're the dwarfs from The Hobbit. That's just how they roll.
I'm blunting the knives over here.
You say that Peach has like health regeneration and indestructibility, which would be very helpful. I think now would be a good time to touch on it. I can go in depth later when we get closer to like the end. But Castlevania is fundamentally a game about characters that are not affected by normal attacks and regenerate and cannot die. And Maria's magic just kills them anyway. Like, Maria's magic is specifically like, fuck your regeneration, fuck your immortality, I'm gonna hit you with this fire and you're not gonna be alive anymore. Be gone, monster, you don't belong in this world. Something I just wanted to... There's a couple of things I can bring up, but these are a bit more esoteric. A smaller one is in the very first Castlevania game. During the Dracula boss fight, you literally behead Dracula, and then he just turns into like his next form. Like, bodily harm does not matter to Dracula, but these characters can still, with their magic, just kill Dracula, despite the fact that physical damage does not matter to him. Another fun thing was... Let me see if I can... Oh, I think this was actually a video I put up here earlier. This is Simon's Quest. I'll mute it because the sound doesn't matter. This is a game where, for whatever reason, So Simon here has all of Dracula's body parts, and he's burning them. And once he does that, Dracula's ghost shows up, and then he has to kill Dracula's ghost. So he has destroyed both Dracula's soul and his body. And he's like, alright, I've done what I can. And then we get like the credits, and then what happens is at the very end of the game, Dracula pops his hand out of the ground. And so Simon, a character with a vampire-killing whip, could not put Dracula down because of his crazy regeneration resurrection for more than like a fucking day. Maria kills Dracula at the end of Rondo of Blood, and he stays dead for like 100 years. So her magic just will ignore any health regaining properties any regeneration, it will just kill you dead in a very thorough manner, which I think is very interesting for someone like a Mario character. What else do I have that's very important for this? Just another good regeneration feat. Dracula can regenerate from this, which is we see here a heart, a rib bone, a tooth, a nail, and an eyeball. From all this, this is all that is required for Dracula to restore himself easily. So, if you want to talk about regaining health, just regenerating from an eyeball, a nail, and a nail isn't even like an alive part of your body, a rib bone and a heart, and you're back to form. What else did I want to bring up in regards to all of this? This is all for later for the most part. So we talked about indestructible. Maria also has a couple ways to become indestructible. One of her most iconic things is like she has this prayer which gives her this part where she copyright infringes on Mario's flow and via the power of the four guardians becomes indestructible. I would like to point out that you brought up that she has items that last indefinitely, so this isn't as strong of a point as I thought it was before. But I looked it up, and the longest a power star can last has been 17 seconds, and this power up lasts for 34 seconds. So I just wanted to throw that out there as you have better stuff, so it sounds like it's kind of pointless, but she can become indestructible for a certain while. And there's something very, very interesting about this, which is that, well, besides just becoming indestructible, she also has that thing where enemies take damage on impact and die. It heals her to full health because there's like a health bar unlike Mario. So when she activates this form, it like fills her health up and can also just heal other people. And it's also like a stat boost. All of her attacks are twice as strong as they were before. But there's something very interesting is that when she casts this on herself, it's 34 seconds. If she casts it on someone else, it lasts indefinitely. Because in Symphony of the Night, when you play as Richter in the very beginning of the game, and you're fighting Dracula, if you lose health to 0, Maria pulls up, does her prayer, and gives Richter the super form. And as long as Maria is praying, that super form never goes away. Why this is relevant is because Maria can cast this on her animals. So we can have Maria, that giant scary dragon from the very beginning of this video, she can turn it indestructible forever, which is very potent. Beyond this, she also has indestructibility potions, which she can, like, you know, RPG characters, she has a bunch of them. She can drink potions to also become indestructible in a similar way. But this is, like, this is more flashy than just having an item that does it. Is there anything else I wanted to bring up that was, like, relevant for the stuff you brought up? Yeah, she also just has, like, some interesting, So, like I said, Maria is a magical entity, which means she has resistance to damn near everything, because Castlevania kind of gets eldritch. Dracula's castle is like hell, and like tears away at like your mind and your soul and your sense of self just by being there. If anyone in the chat has ever played, which game was this? This was The Order of Ecclesia. That whole game is about people that don't have plot armor trying to deal with Dracula's castle while their like minds and bodies are being like warped and torn apart just by like the presence of his castle. So here's some of the things that, and if you're a Belmont or Maria Renard, and Maria Renard's also from a famous bloodline, and you're just like too chatty to care about the magical effects of Dracula's castle, here's some of the things you can resist. This is an enemy in the game that is if you're in the castle for too long, you might just get turned into a giant flaming skeleton ghost. That just the castle will just corrupt you into this. If you're and Maria just does not care. So this would be like she can resist being transformed into other things. There's a couple other fun examples I want to bring up just because there's a lot of fun monsters, and I just kind of want to talk about Castlevania. Um, there is she can just resist death. Um, there's like the mandrakes that the scream will just kill you, and this doesn't kill Maria. It just like does like some amount of damage. So it's like and this is consistent. There's been multiple mandrake enemies that are in lore just supposed to like kill anyone, and they do not kill Maria. You didn't bring up fear hacks, so I'm not gonna like. Does Peach have any fear hacks that I'm gonna need to counter against? So I'll just very briefly bring up the fact that vampires. Actually, I will bring it up because it's kind of a funny scan. Vampires can instill fear down to the cellular level, like they're Yujiro. It says like in front of him is a grotesque monster whose dreadful power can be felt. The creature appears human, but the instant he looked at it, all of his body cells cried out in terror. And again, Maria fights vampires all the time, does not care about supernatural fear induction. More resistances, because resistances is the name of a game against a Mario character, so I made sure I had this on lock. Her mind is very strong. There's several creatures that a different type of mandrakes can make you insane with its cry. Maria does not care about these. If you get hit by this scream, Maria just like doesn't care. And this has happened on multiple occasions. There's various mandrakes from different games that will scream and turn any of us insane, but they will not turn Maria insane. Oh yeah, that's another way. It's just a more you can't go insane. Something else that's interesting is the castle can not just magically mutate you, but like mutate you via like weird magic radiation, like it's Fallout. This is like a giant owl monster that got mutated by the castle's influence. So it's just this giant monster owl. There's also giant caterpillars that were mutated by the castle's magic. So yeah, like if you were an animal in the vicinity, sorry man, you kind of got a little fucked up. This happens to slugs as well, giant slug monsters that were just turned into horrible monsters just by being near the castle. There's zombies that will spew their fluids at you, and this like rots and decays your flesh away. Maria does not care. You get hit by these, you just like take some damage and walk it off.
I love fluids.
Yeah, there's a lot of very, very good resistances that Maria has. Did I miss anything? I really want to be sure because... Oh, here's a funny thing, is they resist narrative manipulation. I don't know if Peach has this, but I'll briefly bring up in Grimoire of Souls, the Grimoire is the story of Castlevania, and the bad guys in Castlevania got so swole and so mad that they changed the narrative so that they win instead of the good guys. And the good guys just like, let's call some backup. And then like they win again, despite the fact that the narrative itself was changed by the power of the bad guys. I don't know if Peach has narrative manipulation, but if she does, really. Maria's just gonna try harder and win anyway. Is there anything else I wanted to bring up just because resistances being mutated? Yes, her soul can kind of just undo mind control. And this is very impressive because this happened while she had like her powers sealed away by a potion. Like light can just burst from her body. This was from the radio drama. Like light bursts from her body and not only like healed someone's soul that was getting like consumed, but also undid the mind control he was under, and this guy like turned back on the bad guy who was trying to control him. And this is also good, showing that like her powers can resist being sealed away. Like if she's like, ah shit, I need my powers, the light will just kind of burst out from within her, and she will have her powers again. She doesn't need to breathe. Um, she can be underwater indefinitely. And not only can she be underwater indefinitely, but she still makes her like she still says the words whenever she like casts a spell or like does her little hop noise. So not only does she not need to breathe, but she can still somehow articulate sound whilst underwater, which I thought was very fun. Is there anything else that... Oh yeah, she's just blatantly immune to poison, petrification, and curses. Petrification would, it's being turned to stone, completely immune to that. So any kind of gold or stone transformation would not work. Poison, I don't know if Peach is rocking up with poison, but if she has any, it's not going to work. And curses in Castlevania are anything that can, like, reduce your stats or make it that you can't do certain abilities. So if Peach has any, like, you can't do this attack or you're weaker now, her magic just makes her, like, immune to that. Soul Steal, like, vampires, like, cannot steal her soul. It's implied like maybe they could with like time and effort, but they can't do it as easy as they could to anyone else. Holy damage, she's just straight up immune to holy. If you could argue that Peach is like a holy light based person, you could argue maybe a lot of spells just straight up would not work on Maria. She has these holy glasses that let her see through illusions and can see invisible guys, which could be very helpful if Peach turns invisible. And she has a stopwatch that stops time. And if you are in a multiplayer game and you hit the stopwatch, it does not affect the other players. Everyone, if you're like a cool Chadley protagonist, you just like resist the time stop. So, what I'm trying to say is Peach has a lot of good hacks, but I'm pretty sure Maria resists all of them. And if you want to win, you're going to have to, like, throw the hands. Because that's yeah, I kind of went on a long tangent. I feel like I may have just kind of info dumped and just became a meaningless, like, listing off of items that gets hard to keep track of. But I think the main thing I wanted to get across is you can't really out-hack Maria. You just have to, like, beat her up to win.
All right. I do want to bring up a couple things. So, for one, I did have a couple things that could steal potential items from Maria, but also, the lightning that I brought up earlier, on top of shrinking, it destroys any and all items that are in your current inventory.
What item does this?
The lightning strike.
I think the rubber boots would give Maria the resistance to the lightning.
Maybe. I think it could do it for the actual like physical damage to her, but I don't know if it would actually stop the lightning from destroying the items in her inventory.
Well, I guess like that's the weird thing is that if we're arguing it's a lightning, I would argue the rubber boots would resist that. If we're arguing it's like a shrinking thing, I would argue her ability to resist the castle transforming her into something would resist being transformed into a smaller version of herself. And I guess if we're just arguing like the lightning just erases your items from existence, I guess that's possible. Like it's hard to say like Castlevania characters specifically have a resistance to like their items being destroyed. I don't know if that specifically has ever come up. But I feel like if you resist both the lightning and the shrinking feature, it would be weird for like the items to also magically go away as well.
Whoa, what the?
My mother's calling me.
Uh-oh. I have a quick question. Would the gold be, would she be immune to be turned into gold?
She is immune to being turned into stone, so I would assume that gold would work the same.
there's some potential there for, I guess, like an argument of they're different enough that maybe, but at the very least, it would be very hard to do.
Yeah.
She might be able to change the animals that are being hurled at her into gold.
Yeah.
Potentially, but then she would just like summon. It's not like she has one animal that she like summons back and forth. She has like a whole. She essentially has an infinite amount of these animals.
Yeah.
God, PETA's gonna be pissed at that.
And then one thing I did want to bring up is that in Mario RPG, Peach does have resistance to any soul stuff. There are enemies called Greepers that reap and steal souls, and they are unable to do anything to Peach's soul. So there is some things there. Could you bring up RPG?
RPG.
So Super Mario RPG gives a decent amount of stuff. Has a pretty hefty resistance to all holy attacks. Excuse me. The Peach Beam probably not going to be doing a whole lot here because it's a holy blast. But she's able to summon a sheep from the sky to cause sleep. Mute is able to stop magic in the area. Summon bombs from the sky, and then there's all of the different items. There's a lot here. So they got all sorts of different things that give boost to attack, defense. Specifically, she's got a couple that give massive boost to her holy defense. That's big already. The safety badge makes her immune to any and all status effects, which includes things like fear. And one of the big things here is that I want to talk about is with her defense against holy, she can likely stop the parts of Maria's arsenal that would bypass the immortality type of stuff, because that's the reason in Castlevania that they're able to put down the vampires, is because of their holy stuff. With Peach's massive resistance against holy attacks, plus with her holy defense boosting items, she would be able to resist that a bit. Which brings me to things like the Enduring Brooch, which when she is taken down to no health, when she dies, it refills her health. But on top of that, she has an ability, Royal Guard, which fully heals her and activates Auto Life, which the next time that she would die brings her back up to full health. It's not her losing a life. It's as if that her going dead had never happened. And with her endless supply of magic, this isn't something she can only cast once.
I must apologize to you severely. I got distracted by what the chat was saying, so I think I missed like the last 10 seconds of what you said. I was hearing you for most of what you said, but then you said something about like making death never happened, and I missed the context. What did you say?
So, with her ability Royal Guard, it fully heals her and then grants her Auto Life. Auto Life is when that she dies. It just brings her life back up to 1, but it's not wasting a life because there is a life system. It is it acts as if she never died and just heals her all the way back up to full. And like I said, with her endless supply of magic, she is able to just continuously cast Royal Guard. So that's she's got, like I said, she's got a lot of stuff here, giving her all sorts of different boosts, and that's one of the big things is all of these things can stack and boost together, giving her insane amounts of defense stuff, and also give her certain immunities like the Ghost Medal, which would stop any attempts of Maria, because you kind of talked about earlier about Maria going for Peach's power-ups. The Ghost Medal stops any and all of her power-ups from being stolen. And then, since I'm talking a little bit about magic stuff, can you go to telekinesis? Peach has heart magic, which we've talked about a little bit. She's able to use it in a few different ways. She's able to make anyone and anything seemingly infatuated with her.
Did you say there was like an image associated with this?
Yeah, telekinesis.
Telekinesis. Okay.
She's able to make seemingly any and everything infatuated with her. She's able to use her heart magic to create shields that absorb attacks, and she's able to use it to use telekinesis, as you can see. Where in this image, she's picking up Bowser, and she literally just throws him out of, like, all the way out of the kingdom, like a country, not a country, but like a town away. And then on top of that, can you bring up where'd it go? Can you bring up time slow? So I already brought up the stopwatch earlier, but on top of that, Peach has an inherent ability of slowing down time and leaving after images. This is something that is exclusive to only a few to only her and Daisy in the tennis games. And yeah, she's able to slow down time, leaving after images because she is moving so fast. I want to save my bigger stuff.
That's cool. I still got a bunch to talk about, so if you got stuff to save, we can definitely save it.
Yeah. I guess last thing I'll talk about real quick. Did you bring up resistance to sleep?
Resistance to sleep?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
Oh.
resistance to sleep. Well, I don't think I brought up specifically, but that is like, I believe there is an enemy in Castlevania that like can put you to sleep, and you can like, you can kind of just shrug it off by I think button mashing, or you can just like, I think in the mobile game you can like equip gear that'll just make you like immune to it.
Okay.
I guess it does I didn't think to look into sleep specifically. So maybe we'll say a solid maybe.
Assuming that it's even just a resistance and not like a full on immunity. We do have the sheep, which I brought up, and I showed the image earlier with Super Smash Bros. While she gets no scaling from that, her final smash is something she can actually do with her heart magic of putting people to sleep. And I think for right now, that's where I can end on magic.
I do want to bring the RPG image back up because there's some interesting things I want to touch on here. But
Okay.
first, I just kind of want to cover some of the questions from the chat real fast. Robot972 has said, even with Maria resisting power null, I think mute preventing her from speaking words is an easy bypass to that. Maria does not need to speak to cast magic. She makes noise when she casts magic, but that's because in Rondo of Blood, she's a little girl that is having a great time, and in Symphony of the Night, she's like a martial artist, and that like makes like combat noises when she does attacks. So if you were to just like say like Maria can't speak anymore, that would not take away any of her magic. If she does. Okay, so we're also I've seen a couple people talk about like stealing Maria's items. A lot of Maria's stuff is not like an item. That's kind of like the big difference between like in Symphony of the Night Maria mode. That's like the big difference between playing as Alucard and playing as Maria. Is that Alucard is like the Metroidvania, gather equipment from around the world and like build yourself up to be unstoppable. Maria is like, I don't even really have a menu in this game. I have like fighting game combos, and I just like run around the castle being a badass, like classic Castlevania situation. So a lot of this is like she can summon magic animals, which is now like an item to steal. And she also has a lot of magic I haven't even touched on yet. Like she does have some items, but taking away those items would not like take away. It would take away like basically nothing from Maria for the most part. Yeah, so I did want to say you brought up the fact that Peach being a holy character means that Maria's specific abilities might not be as effective, and I was anticipating this argument. And if maybe like 5 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, you would have been right on the money, but then the mobile game came out. And here's what happens in the mobile game. So in Castlevania, there's the holy attribute and the dark attribute. Good guys tend to use the holy attribute, and dark guys tend to use the darkness attribute. For the most part, think about like Pokemon Dragon versus Dragon. Light holy attacks are effective on dark type enemies, and dark type magic is effective on light type enemies in Castlevania. They're both like super effective. As of the mobile game, Maria has a dark type version of basically her entire arsenal. She's got darkness cats, darkness birds, darkness fire, darkness tigers. Which, if you're arguing that Peach would resist the holy because she's a holy person, that would then open her up to being super effective to the darkness attacks, going by the Castlevania logic. So either we're saying this doesn't translate and Maria's attacks work fine as normal, or we're saying Castlevania logic does apply, Peach would resist the holy, but then she would get hit super effective by Maria's dark type version of her arsenal.
Well, I don't know about that, simply because a lot of Peach's items do specifically boost her defenses against dark magic. I just didn't bring it up because I didn't think you had dark magic.
I've got all sorts of magic. Yeah, but the thing is, like, Death and Dracula also, like, resist, like, dark type stuff. Fully heal and auto life. That's just kind of like that's probably gonna be like one of the final discussions we talk about is like, is Maria's anti-regeneration good enough to counter Peach's stuff like that? Safety badge attacks, enduring bird feather, ghost, strings. So that's kind of wanted to touch on that. There's a very interesting aspect of like holy versus darkness in this fight.
Yeah.
What do I want to bring up next? I've kind of talked about. I think now is just a good time to just talk about how immortal characters in Castlevania are specifically, because it gets kind of crazy. So then, let's strap in for some lore about how Castlevania works. So, in Castlevania, I'll take down the Peach thing real quick. In Castlevania, Dracula's castle comes back every so often. Sometimes it's 100 years later, sometimes it's next week. Dracula does not stay dead. This is because Dracula's castle and all of Dracula's minions, they can have their bodies and their souls destroyed, but they will come back as long as there is darkness in the heart of humanity. Because that is kind of what summons them from the concept of chaos for the most part. And I would like to thank the novel for giving me this very explicitly. Thank you, Demon Castle Dracula, Reminiscence of Dark Abyss. Where we have stuff like, the castle is summoned by the chaos in human beings. Dracula's castle is summoned from the chaos that are within them. From the time the demon castle emerged out of the chaos in human beings. The castle is the symbol of the chaos within humans, and as long as people exist, it will not be completely sealed. This is just kind of I'm gonna get into why this is important, but I'm just gonna explain like the layers of you can destroy the body in Castlevania, you can destroy the soul in Castlevania, but then there's like an extra layer where it's like you can still regenerate from like the concept of chaos. So that's just like I want to establish like the 3 layers we're working with in Castlevania. And there's some very interesting things the way this immortality that they get from this happening. Let me see. This is just an example of this is just showing that like the evil of the Dracula's castle comes from those who just seek chaos and destruction. As long as that was the wrong one. I'm great at streaming, guys. That one. Yeah, we need to. The chaos is influencing the castle, so like they can't destroy it spiritually or physically. The castle itself is a creature of chaos, similar to how Dracula and all of his minions are, which means that chaos is empowering them. This is from one of the games. I forget the name of it. So that's just like good proof of that. There's a good example of Dracula in just being like, all of your efforts are in vain, idiot. I'm just gonna come back later on. There's like literally nothing you can do to stop that. Destroy my body, destroy my soul. Does not matter. I'm coming back. It's very, very good. This is important because this lets them do a couple of very interesting things. In the very first game, death is like, as long as my master survives, I cannot die. So this is like, death will come back. Death is like the Grim Reaper. He's one of like the most iconic villains, constantly serving Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I will rise from the dead as long as my dude's alive. And this is just a way to show that like, you can destroy like Death's body and his soul, and he'll just come back very soon. Because right after this, Leon Belmont was like, great, I'm going to kill you. And I'm going to kill you so hard that you run away back to your master to tell him that I got beef with him. It was very funny. It's like, oh, good. I don't want you to die because I need you to send a message. It was very fun. There's some very interesting stuff. I skipped one. Damn it. Here's the problem with having a ton of scans is you do them in the wrong order sometimes. Where is it? It's the funny World War II scan. Yes. In World War II, all of the souls of the dead that were pissed off, their chaos and unrest summoned Dracula's castle, and then they went to the castle to become monsters. This is important because it's going to show that like the castle revives people. And this is extra important because in the novel I brought up earlier that gave me a lot of the good stuff, in that there's a bad guy trying to like copy Dracula, so this is like an ass version of Dracula. And his ass castle can still essentially create an infinite supply of zombies and other monsters just by the castle's magic can like recreate them. So, and this is important because some of these monsters are just straight up souls. Like, for example, this guy, where is he? This guy is just an angry animal that died. It's just the soul. You can kill the soul, and then the soul will come back via the power of Dracula's castle. Another example of this is in this one. I thought this one was very funny because it's an evil spirit that's controlling a sword. You can just beat up the sword enough, and the evil spirit will die. You can. It's literally just a spirit that is telekinetically controlling weapons, and you can somehow just hit the weapons with enough magic in Castlevania to like kill it, and this evil spirit will come back. So, what I'm trying to get across is that Castlevania characters like Maria are very good at killing the soul, and Peach does have like a certain level of resistance. But Maria is also really good at killing the soul. And here's my favorite feat of Maria killing something that is not meant to die. And let's talk about Dead Cells for a second. In the Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells, Dracula's the final boss, but you have to get past death in order to get there. Problem is that the Dead Cells protagonist does not have the capability to kill death. The Dead Cells protagonist can kill everything else in Castlevania, so he can destroy the body and soul as is required. But death is death. So even if you kill Death's body and you kill Death's soul, the Beheaded has no ability to kill Death. And this is important because Death will just constantly respawn and like drag you down to his boss fight and as a way to prevent you from getting to the castle. And you can't just like kill him and move on because he's dragged you like away from that. So it's kind of a video game check to be like, you have to do something besides just beating Death to get to the main castle. And then you have to like teleport to Dracula to circumvent that. This is specifically a problem with the Beheaded because the Beheaded does not have the capability to kill Dracula. The capability to kill Death for good. Maria and Richter and Alucard do not have this problem. They can kill Death and that bitch stays dead. So that's why I'm saying like there's layers of just killing you, and it doesn't matter that you're Death and are supposed to be immune to staying dead. Our magic is specifically designed to kill things that don't die, so you're staying dead. And that's like kind of like my big argument for like I think Maria has more layers of killing you and you staying dead than Peach has layers of regeneration and reviving. I would say like if we like were to compare Death to Peach, I would say Death has more impressive anti-dying capabilities and Maria can still kill him. Yeah. Man, I have so much to talk about with Maria. I need to kind of rush through this. Maria's the avatar. She has elemental abilities. She can shoot fire. I've talked about like the animals, but she can also she has her own magic. She can shoot fire, which is very helpful. Fire is always good. She has a gun. She has a gun that shoots lightning. Specifically, I thought it was very fun. This gun shoots lightning bolts. It's very fun. What else does she have? She has the she can shoot waves. So she does not only have fire, but this is a different one. This is holy water. She can like shoot holy water out in like an area of effect. Holy water is just kind of like napalm, where like it burns real good. Holy water is very good. Besides shooting out as an AoE, she can also just kind of shoot it out as like a normal wave, where like she throws on the ground and it kind of goes forward. What else does she have for elements? She has a lot of elements. I'm kind of trying to rapid fire through them. She has Dragon Ball Ki Blasts. She can just kind of shoot lasers. And what's actually important is, like I was saying, she plays like Mega Man X by like having really good jumps and sliding. She can like charge these up to become stronger and stronger. This is what happens when it's charged a little bit. It becomes like a much bigger laser where it like fires out and is a giant fuck you death ball. And even higher than that, it basically becomes like Thoron from Smash Bros, where it's just like this really strong like death laser that just shoots out like that. So you can play Maria like you're playing Mega Man, where you're charging up and you can charge while you're like dodging hits and then unleash like a really strong magic blast. So she has electricity, she has fire, she has water, she has ki blasts. She also has tornadoes. Peach has tornadoes, Maria also has tornadoes. And this is by default wind power, but she can apply any kind of element to this. This can be a holy tornado, a dark tornado, a fire tornado, electric tornado, ice tornado. It can be any kind of tornado. She's got tornadoes for days. Besides tornadoes, she also has normal water. Like she can just summon like a tidal wave to attack people with. So she's got fire and water. Beyond that, she also has she has wind bullets. She can shoot you with wind bullets. They're very strong. So she has wind, fire, and water, and electricity, and tornadoes. So she's got all the big elements that you would want in a character like this. She has a JoJo stand. this is a blatant JoJo reference where she summons a spirit to like go in front of her and punch and attack. And this is the most bullshit move in the fighting game because it's a 3D arena fighter. She can summon this thing, and this thing guard breaks, so you can't block this thing. But also, Maria isn't like in an animation. Maria summons it, and it attacks you like 2 seconds later, and Maria can like go around and also attack you at like the same time. So she can genuinely flank you with her own JoJo stand. This JoJo stand, when it punches something, it gives her health back. Like, it punches you and it heals Maria at the same time. It's a very good JoJo stand. Solo Star Platinum easily. If she herself is in hand-to-hand, she has, like, electricity punches. Like, if you're ever, like, getting a little too close for comfort, she can give you, like, an electric Falcon Punch. Very helpful. I think, like, we could have a fun little clash of the butt bump versus the electric fist. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
She can jump real good. She can like fly. Like, she can like jump fucking over like giant walls. Her jumps are really good. Beyond jumping, she also can. I don't even remember what this scan is. It just says owl elements. What is this? Oh, this is just the birds can also shoot lasers. So the birds are shooting lasers at the same time as Maria's shooting lasers. These lasers can be any elemental type. Fire, wind, electricity, ice, holy dark. Resistance. Okay. So I do have weapons. They aren't super important, so I don't need to like show scans for all of them. But like, you know, she has some axes she can throw around. She can throw 3 axes at once. Beyond the axes, she also has... how does Peach have any resistance to Jesus? Because Maria has the Bible, and it like flies around like it's fucking crazy. And this is a really strong defensive move where it just hits everything.
I would say that counts as holy.
You know what? Fair enough, but I think it's very strong. She has like the iconic like cross boomerang. She has like the item crash. This is like crazy strong. You can like really gimmick bosses by just like spamming this. This is like the ultimate cheat the game move in any Castlevania game. You just spam this, you're indestructible. The bad guys are in like the taking damage frame thing. You just do this like 5 times and the boss's health bar is depleted and you've cheesed the whole game. So how's Peach's frame data look? Because this is going to destroy her frame data.
Actually insane. Her frame data is absolutely insane.
So maybe she will get negged by it, but it's still very good. She has like the infamous cross boomerang that people love Castlevania characters for. It's very cool.
Unless they're in Smash Bros. And they hate it.
Yeah. So she has this. Something that's very interesting is that there's this like powder that is meant to be like you put on the ground and bad guys can't like walk on it because it'll like burn. It's meant to be like a area control thing.
Oh, it's salt then.
When Maria does it, it explodes. Mm-hmm. It does not explode with Richter or Alucard or when any other character does it, but Maria, she's put some gunpowder in there or something because it's not just consecrated ashes that burns you by walking on it. It also explodes, which I think is very funny that it's just never explained. Maria's just got that down. She's got knives, so she's Mad Dummy from Undertale. She's just gonna throw knives at you when you least expect it. And she has this stone that's like fucking goes crazy. Like you throw the stone, it's hard to see because you're just in a giant black screen. But when you're in like a tight Castlevania corridor, this stone fucking rebounds off of everything and is crazy good. Mm-hmm. And is that the last? And also, like we pointed out in the fighting game, she has like the staff with her bird in it, and the bird can actually like move her around and like help her momentum. So, like it's actually like a really effective weapon. We were talking about how the items might get removed, so like the axes and knives aren't the most relevant, but I wanted to bring it up because I want to show that she's not only crazy magically, but she's also crazy martially. Okay. With that, I've talked about most of what I have to talk about today.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience as I just info
no problem. Honestly, I'm kind of glad you did because I don't really know anything about Castlevania. So with that, I think it's time for me to go into my big things, and then we can go into stats. So one thing I do want to bring up is let me make sure I have it right. Is the item is the badges in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. There's a lot of them, including multiple that reduce or, in some cases, nullify damage, which isn't a regeneration thing. It just stops damage from hitting.
What item is this?
The damage badge, I believe is what it's called. But then, can you bring up big guns? So these are the big guns when it comes to Peach's items. So the one-ups. One-ups are canonical. They're not just an item. They're not just something for games, and they are able to bring you back physically or spiritually, as there are enemies that do affect the soul in Mario. Power stars, we see them all throughout. They power entire worlds in Super Mario 64, and this is including ones that are stated, like TikTok Clock, to be infinite. Power stars are what make and power those. Stella is what grants her shining power that I think it's called shimmering power. Sorry, that grants her her costumes and such. The zebra muscle boom shot is from the Mario Rabbids game. Did not expect to dig into that for this. But with that, she's able to hit through walls. And with the pure hearts, she is able to do quite a bit. They are the antithesis to the chaos heart. They're able to completely negate resistances to electricity, paralysis, ice, fire, sleep, and time. They're able to fully heal the user, break powerful shields, which could stop the turtle, and is able to empower the user with their being, which is able to recreate the universe or the multiverse, which we'll get in more stat stuff in a minute. And then something big that I do want to bring up is earlier times. So in Super Mario RPG, there's an item called Earlier Times. This is an item that you got to grind a bit to get. What they do is you can use them, and it rewinds time to restart the fight. But the person who uses it keeps their knowledge of the fight, because you keep any and all. Because there are things you can do to like inspect the enemies and learn about their weaknesses and such. You keep all of that, meaning that Peach is able to restart the fight with all of her knowledge of Maria's abilities and weaknesses. Let's see. So there's that, and then also a couple other minor things I do want to bring up. With the I brought it up earlier, the giant mushroom, the mega mushroom. They are able to hurt people that have the invincibility of the power star, which could potentially break through some of the invincibility that Maria could get from certain items and such, and and abilities. I think that's it. Give me 1 second. Yeah. That's about it for big time items.
PH-OS-J4T sent a trophy cake. I don't know what that is, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's very kind of you.
What is that?
I don't know, but it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even like. How is he doing that on the YouTube chat?
I think he just said it. I think, or maybe he actually
but
did.
there's
I don't
like
know.
a little. There's like a little emote thing, and I've never seen that before.
Ah. Nice.
So this is pretty interesting because we're talking about going back in time to like reset the continuity of the fight.
Yes, but Peach would keep her memories of everything that she saw of Maria's.
You can argue that Maria has a bit of a similar thing going on because in the Grimoire of Souls, it's kind of like the time patrol from Xenoverse, where like people are like, "Hey, someone's messing with time. We got to figure that what's going on here." Except instead of messing with time, it's kind of like they're messing with like the narrative of history. It's basically like, so there's these things called grimoires, and these grimoires contain like a universe, but also like they are the history of the world they live in. So it's like someone's messing with history, so you go into like that grimoire, which is that history. So if Peach starts like resetting the time, then you could make an argument that Maria would like exit the universe that she exists within to be like, well, you're fucking with continuity. I'm gonna get out of the book that this fight is taking place in, change my item equips, and then like retry this again and go back in. Because that's kind of like the retries in Castlevania Grimoire of Souls are also semi-canonical.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you go into the book, but also like the book is where they came from. So like it's just like they leave the book, talk to them, they can go back into the book. And if they like die, they just like go back out of the book and they're like, well, that sucks. So if we're saying that like the retry clock is in play and can give Peach as many retries as we want, then we could introduce the idea that Maria just exits the book and retries as many times as she wants, and this is a never-ending draw.
Huh. Well, that's fun.
That's an interesting possibility. The pure hearts are pretty good. It's good when you just have a lot of vulnerability options. I think the 1-ups would be the thing that is countered by the anti-regeneration, the anti-resurrection, the life absorption. I think she has ways around
real
the 1-up
quick.
specifically.
Look at chat.
Hey, someone just sent us $7.
What?
Hey, thank
Also
you.
from PH-OS-J4T. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Canadian too.
It's Canadian. How
Yeah, it
nice.
says CA next to it, so you got
does.
that money essentially.
We got Monopoly money.
And this is like real outside help, but like, yeah, I'm not gonna make that argument. I was just gonna say, like, lore-wise, what happens in the game is if like you lose in Grimoire of Souls, I think you can go with like multiple characters at one point. So like Maria could like pull up with like Richter and Alucard, but that's like totally breaking the 1v1 rules. That would not be allowed. They sent us $7 a second time, so thank you for that.
Damn.
You're not even saying anything in chat. You're just giving us money.
Which, like,
Very
hey,
interesting.
appreciate.
And we appreciate it, but like, you want to like say something?
I do also want to. I'll go ahead and versus that you.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I only see one.
Yeah, I only see one for me too. But I do want to bring up that with the pure hearts, it not only grants those resistances, it also strips. It could also strip the her enemies of those resistances.
That is interesting.
That's all I got. That isn't stats.
So I guess we can talk about who's stronger, who's faster. Do you want to start with speed, or do you want to start with AP?
I'm cool starting with speed.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go ahead and go first for this one.
So we can just go with like the MFTL ends. We know both these characters are gonna have stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just like a small comedic fee in the Kid Dracula game, Kid Dracula can throw a rock at the sun in a second. This is count to roughly about 300 times the speed of light. This is the sun, trust me. There's arguments that it might be the moon, but it's almost certainly the sun. It's not my biggest feat anyway, so even if it was the moon, it was only like vaguely light speed, that'd still be fine. We have beyond that, then we're getting into like millions of times FTL. And a demon can use an ability called Twinkle Star, which pulls a star out of orbit and then summons it like to crash down on Earth, Elden Ring style. For this to work, this would be an insane speed feat. This would be like you're reaching to like so far. This has been calced to based on the closest star in our world, because this is kind of implied that Castlevania takes place on Earth. This would be a like 200 million times FTL feat.
Yeah.
And then there's a feat I couldn't find a calc for, but Alucard and Soma Cruz are capable of running out of a universe, running like a universe-sized distance in a couple minutes to escape from somewhere.
Okay.
Essentially, like, they're in this place called the Abyss, which is another universe. And, like, they went to one end to kill a guy, and then they have to run and escape it before they're trapped in there forever. And then they just do this. They just run a universe-sized distance, and they escape. I wasn't able to find a good calc for this, but that kind of feat should roughly get around, like... I had this written down somewhere. It should net roughly, like... I think we're talking... Where is it? We're in the quadrillions of times faster than light range for running universal distances.
Yeah.
What you got for MFTL stuff?
All right. So let me make sure I have the numbers pull up so I can accurately describe. Here we go. Okay. So, can you bring up Light Beam? This one's pretty. I guess also This is starting a little just a little lower. Just this is a Light Beam, very standard that we see Mario and Luigi move in tandem with, which was calced at like 1.1 light speed. You know, nothing much. Can you bring up Star Travel?
Star Travel.
So Star Travel is for Mario Galaxy, the launching between galaxies and planets. So with the reaction speed of this, going between being able to grab stars, change trajectory, and land properly, launching between planets and such. This was calced around 820 trillion C. And then hold on, my thing's not loading. Sherm, are you breaking my scans? Saul did the same thing earlier.
Saul's still doing it. He's not here,
You
but
remember what
his
it's
presence
called?
is.
No, the that's working fine. It's I have all my scan like numbers written down.
Your notes are getting
compromised. There we go. All right, and then so the other one, this one isn't a scan for it, but this is crossing from one galaxy to it. So the last one was crossing like through a galaxy from one planet to another. So this one is crossing from galaxy to galaxy.
Okay.
And this one again is Mario doing it, and it was calced. Let me make sure I have this right. This is 100,000 million. All right. So this one is calced at around 27 quadrillion times the speed of light.
Okay.
So I'd say roughly even. Do you know like roughly roughly how many quadrillions it might be yours?
It's hard to say because it wasn't calced.
Yeah.
So like, I would estimate to be roughly around like maybe like 100 quadrillion.
Okay.
But that's like that's a real ballpark guess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we're like reaching into like quintillions, but like we're we're into the quadrillions a little bit.
Yeah.
It depends on the specifics. Do you have anything? Do you have any infinite speed feats?
I believe I do. Do you?
I do.
All right, go ahead. If you want to bring up
Indeed.
yours, I'll grab mine.
I have an infinite speed feats, and I can potentially make some immeasurable arguments. This is the classic one. I think is pretty well known. This is from the same novel that I brought up a couple other times before. But death kills distance to attack you instantly, and people can still dodge these attacks. I feel like you can't get much of a more blatant speed feat than death being killed. And thus, via the speed formula, every attack has 0 time because there's 0 distance. So it's just a very blatant infinite speed feat. I can maybe hold off the immeasurable stuff until you want to talk about it.
Give me 1 second. I gotta grab mine. I forgot to grab a scan for it. No, I don't remember what it was. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
1 second. I'm sorry. If you want to go into your immeasurable one, just because. Oh wait, here we go. So in Mario RPG, there is the entity known as Culex, who exists across time and space and moves throughout thin dimensional rifts during their fight. And which just moving through another infinite dimension would be an infinite speed feat, and they're able to react to them. But on top of that, in Super Paper Mario, they are able to travel finite distances within infinite. They are able to move throughout the dimensional rifts, which have infinite distances, and travel through them.
Okay. Here's my crazy immeasurable speed feat.
Okay.
Which is that in Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow, there is a relatively normal weak enemy known as the Skyfish. Why this is important is that... Let's talk about the stopwatch for a second. The stopwatch is a very iconic time-stopping item in Castlevania. And you can argue that, like, characters and bosses just have, like, a resistance to it, which is why they aren't necessarily stopped when the stopwatch happens, like why Dracula isn't frozen. And you can tell this because, like, a frozen character will get, like, the inverted negative outline.
Yeah.
This stopwatch works on the entire universe. There are points where you can see, like, moving galaxies in the background, and if you hit the stopwatch, the galaxies, like, stop moving. It's a universe-wide, completely real, genuine, time is no longer happening in the universe.
Yeah.
Here's why this Skyfish is not immune to time stop. I think it still gets the inverted colors, but it still moves. There's a quote on it that it says, "I hear there's an enemy that moves at extremely high speeds. He's so fast he's invisible. If you could stop time, perhaps you could see him." This character in the game, he is not there unless you stop time, and then once you stop time, you can see him moving. He is so fast that this is an immeasurable speed feat where the only time you can see the character moving is if time does not exist, and even then they are still like moving that fast. So that is a crazy speed feat that the Castlevania characters would grant the big boys like Dracula and Maria the nice immeasurable speed.
All right. So I do have a couple things that could be immeasurable.
Okay.
As someone brought up in chat, I have appreciated you, by the way, Elf Nations. Keep bringing up arguments before I can get to them. I really appreciate it. Someone being as invested, though. So in Paper Mario Color Splash, there is the ability cutout, which is stated to transcend space and time with its speed, which could be seen as immeasurable, but also. In Mario Party 5, there you are yeah, that's my argument. You were able to chase beings through the Dream Depot, which is a space outside of time space. And in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, there are entities like the Z Keeper, which are framed as transcending conventional distance, space, and time, and you are able to keep up with them, which would also imply immeasurable speeds.
Okay.
So a lot of speed here.
It looks like we are equally matched on the immeasurable front.
I was not expecting immeasurable Castlevania.
Castlevania is got some funny lore. It's got some funny lore in it.
Yeah.
So, do we want to go into AP now?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first this time. Can you bring up? I'll bring this one up just because it's kind of funny. Can you bring up extension cord?
Extension cord.
So this is from Super Mario Bros. Brothership, which if you haven't played Brothership, please do. This game is amazing. But this is very much what you think it is. It is Luigi launching Mario, holding a giant cord to connect another planet. This was scaled at around 7.29 petatons, or multi-continent level. Not super high, I just wanted to bring it up. Can you bring up... That's not it. Where'd it go? Star.
Nemesis. Aha.
So this is a power star creating a constellation. This was calced at 7.62 Fo. So around large star level. But that's kind of low for Mario and Castlevania. So let's bring up... Can you bring up Black?
Black, you say?
So this is a statement from Count Bleck. Silence, the first prophecy beckons. I will erase every inch of this blasted world. This is something that Count Bleck took very literally. Not only destroying the Paper Mario world, but the transcending universe and connecting universes were threatened by his power. This is not a one-off statement. There are so many different statements throughout Mario of... I just scared myself with my computer background. It said my computer background is the CHS rally from Friendship is Magic. And it jump scared me. there are so many different statements throughout with Chakron, the Dark Moon, the Tribe of Ancients, Phantasma, the Dream World. There are a million different universes and multiverses that are constantly being threatened throughout Mario and such. And with especially the Mario cast all scales to this, but especially with the Pure Hearts, which are directly stated to be able to restore the destroyed multiverse, as well as could potentially the higher dimensions that are affected by Count that were affected by Count Black, up to potentially 5D. Higher dimensional Mario scaling is kind of iffy, but there are arguments for the Pure Hearts being able to grant the power up to restoring up to 5D.
Okay.
So multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll have to stop holding back then. So let's talk about if you've seen Saul's Dracula versus the one Twisted Wonderland character cast from forever ago, you would know that they can create eclipses. That's a fun thing. One of Maria's cats is the Sentry, where it burns with the fire of 1,000 suns. So that's fun.
Nice.
Not quite 1,000,000 exploding suns, but 1,000 suns is still that's a lot of joules. It's pretty good. But getting into like the actual big stuff here, what would be a good place to start? I'll just bring up like very basic stuff. Castlevania is stated to contain another dimension. Castlevania is Dracula's castle, if you didn't know. So that's good. Let's talk about the Time Reaper from. So it's just like really easy stuff. I don't really have a scan for this, but Dracula maintains Castlevania, and Castlevania is its own universe-sized dimension. There's also the Abyss, which is another couple of universes at a low ball, as well as the Chaos Realm. So we're dealing with, like, Dracula has the power over, at a low ball, like, 8 dimensions that are universe-sized. Let's talk about Castlevania Judgment, the fighting game. There's a character named the Time Reaper that wants to go back in time, destroy the current timeline, and then he will have power over the new timeline that is created. Now here's the problem, is that the Time Reaper is not careful with how he manages time, so he's actually threatening all of it. He's like, everyone here in this game will disappear and be destroyed forever. All of our timelines are gonna get destroyed. And in this game, every character is from their own timeline. So that's like, I forget how many characters are in the game, but that's like at a super de-duper low ball. I think that's like 15 timelines that would get destroyed. But here's the thing, is that's not where this ends, because he's implying that the entire Castlevania cosmology would get destroyed. And this is where we bring up the Grimoire of Souls scaling, where first off, I'd just like to establish that the grimoires are real. Like, they are, like, real places. Like, people go into the books to, like, get an item, and then they come back out of the books, like, carrying that item. It's like, it's not like some weird, like, lower dimension stuff. Like, this is a genuine universe that they're going into. I forgot what this is, but I grabbed it as a scan. What is this? Oh yeah, this is just proof that the grimoires are universes. I just said that. Oops. But here's the thing, is that we see here that every single one of these books is a universe containing grimoire. Now this has been counted to be over, I think someone counted it to be like there's over, how much was it? My notes say 700. I don't know if that looks like 700 books, but that's what my notes say. But maybe I think it's at least easily over 100 at the very least.
Oh yeah.
So
It's
every
also-
single one of these
It's
is
also
a
not on screen.
what?
So
Oh,
there's
I mean,
some
like,
books that aren't on screen.
The tab goes
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I thought you meant like you couldn't see the scan. Like it's not like okay. Then
No,
please interrupt me. Ask any questions if you have.
I can see it.
Yeah, but each of these.
Yeah, no.
Each of these would be like their own universe, and the Time Reaper destroying all of it would be destroying hundreds of timelines. Now, destroying timelines in fiction is always interesting because there's always the debate of spatial dimensions versus temporal dimensions. Is destroying a timeline a 4D feat infinitely greater than a 3D feat? Depends on who you ask. That's like just not even a power scaling question. That's just a genuine math and physics question.
Yeah.
That like even like that we're not even 100% sure on how that works specifically.
My degree's in education, not physics.
Yeah. We can talk about going a little farther than that. We have the Abyss, which we've explored 6 of those universes, but there's implication that there's infinite layers of the Abyss, and Dracula having power over all of it would be an infinite universal feat. But if we want to get even bigger than infinite layers of the Abyss, because it sounds like infinite universes isn't where Mario peaks, so we're going to keep going. We're going to talk about the Infinite Corridor, which is more of a TV show thing than a game thing, but it is in the game as well. The TV show just adds more layer to it. The Infinite Corridor is essentially all of space and time. Well, actually, no. It encompasses all of space and time, as a way that's like if you go into this infinite corridor, you're kind of shunted out of all reality and can go anywhere in space and anywhere in time. This is very impressive because, like we said, there's a lot of timelines and a lot of universes in Castlevania. And dimensionally, the infinite corridor containing all of that would just be an infinitely large construct beyond any 3D or 4D space. I think the question is, would anyone physically scale to the infinite corridor? And there is implication that Dracula could control the infinite corridor in the show, which would mean that Dracula would have a similar level of scaling as Count Bleck. Another way we can argue 5D Castlevania for consistency would be Chaos, because Chaos, kind of being the devil in the Castlevania world, is kind of similarly higher dimensional, where it's like he's not worried about space and time and souls and bodies. Chaos is just concerned about the concept of chaos throughout the universe of Castlevania. And things spawn from like the concept of chaos. And Soma Cruz in the game can kill chaos. So depending on how you buy the scaling for chaos, chaos could also be a similarly higher dimensional entity similar to Bleck. So I think if we're real loosey-goosey with Mario and put them at 5D, Castlevania has similar loosey-goosey 5D ends that Maria would scale to via killing Dracula.
I do want to, just because I was kind of vague with it, I do want to touch on my specifics a little more. Because I kind of just was like, yeah, they are, and then just shut up about it. So the way that this works, so there is the main world, the main universe of Mario, which contains 7 different space times, as well as the Dream Depot, which is a 5D space with an infinite amount of dream worlds, as well as the painting worlds, matter splatter, and 12. And I think I said this, but just in case I didn't, 12 parallel worlds, which are all stated to be infinite. There's also potential of the cutout dimension, which is stated to be transcendent. Oh my god, transcendent of the main one. So you could potentially try and get it up to 6D, but that's a whole other level of. I'm just throwing things at the wall. There's arguments for it. There's arguments for 5D. Technically, if you want to get at it, I'm sure there's arguments for both of these that they're just wall level. But I can confidently say with how big the different, how many parallel worlds, infinite parallel worlds they are. The Dream Depot being an infinite dream space, which is something that actually exists. It isn't like some theoretical thing that only exists in dreams. It is like an actual thing. We could easily get to 5D with arguments potentially for 6 with the cutout dimension, which is said to be transcendent.
Yeah, I also have a lot more dimensions. I have there's paintings in Castlevania that you can jump into and contain their own universes. So there's also a lot of finite dimensions. I think if you want to, I could get into hundreds of finite universes. But I think once we're getting that high, I can just say the abyss is probably infinite, and thus would be bigger than any amount of finite. And I could say the abyss would probably equal out with the Dream Depot.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. So I guess my final one last thing I want to bring up is mindset and experience.
Okay.
Because I know Peach is very experienced, been on a lot of adventures, but Maria's specifically here to I don't know if Peach has ever been kind of assassinated, which is kind of what this dynamic is gonna be. Maria's coming in to kill. In the TV show, she's she's a revolutionist that is down with the monarchy. So that characterization's going after Peach for revolutionary reasons. But for whatever reason, this fight is starting. Maria is very used to pulling up to castles and killing undying entities, and is good at using very lethal force to do so. I think Peach is also a very skilled, competent fighter, but I think this is going to be a situation Peach isn't nearly as used to. She's not used to defending herself from assassination attempts, whereas Maria going in to kill an entity like Peach is kind of what Maria does. And Maria was kind of better at Richter back when she was 12, and now she's 20 and has a lot of experience. We saw a bunch of weapons. She has all the weapons a classic Castlevania protagonist can use, as well as having her own experience with her own OP magic. So I would argue skill and experience would be and mindset would be a slight edge to Maria in this case.
So I would definitely argue experience. I would say they're pretty even, just time wise. But if we go off a lot of her stuff, then I would say Peach isn't used to that, except when you go into the Mario RPGs. Shroob and Fawful, they just straight up try and murder her. Shroob, full on just tries to take her out. The only reason Peach survives is because she ends up getting infected, overkilled. The only reason that she's alive in Bowser's Inside Story when Fawful takes over and the Dark Star is because she ended up getting sucked up by Bowser, killed by the Dark Star. So she has gotten kind of used to the murder attempts on her life. So I wouldn't say it. Definitely not her normal, but it's not something she's entirely foreign to.
Now the jury has been very patient and quiet because we've kind of just been info dumping. Does the jury have any questions before we move on to final arguments about these two?
I don't.
No.
All right. In that case, you want to just get into final arguments?
That works for me.
So I guess I'll actually you go first while I throw the poll up.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so Princess Peach, she's got a lot going for her. They've got a lot. They seem pretty even in speed. They seem pretty even in power. They've both got a lot of tools at their disposal. A lot of resistances, a lot of magic. All this is so much going on with everything. What I can say is that I think that Peach has way more useful equipment, and she's able to keep it to herself with her different items that would stop her from Maria from taking them. With things like the golden tanuki, or I think it's called the white tanuki. It's not a regeneration thing. It is a damage nullification thing. Meaning that she would be able to stop Maria from even dealing that damage to her in the first place. Even if she is able to get past that, her holy resistance would be able to get her beyond a lot of Maria's big attacks, enough to deal her own. With the earlier time, she is able to completely reset the fight with her own info to keep everything going on. She is versatile. She is powerful. I guess potential arguments for stronger, but I'm not even going to try and argue. They're even. They're pretty even. She is so versatile. She can potentially take over animals with her infatuation. Make sure I'm not missing anything. With her and with things like her mega mushroom, she may be able to get past any bits of invulnerability. With the pure heart, she's able to give herself way more resistances, get rid of Maria's resistances, and continuously heal and empower herself.
All right. If I may quote Maria from Castlevania Nocturne, Season 1, Episode 1, as she's talking with the revolutionaries. The monarchy, they claim it's the natural order. They're born rich, and we're born poor, and that's just the will of God. That's the natural order for them to get rich by milking us dry with impossible rents and unpayable taxes. Maria's mother hasn't paid her taxes for years now because she's just too poor. Sooner or later, they'll send around their bully boys, Mario and Luigi, and you all know what I mean by that. They thought it would stay like that until the end of time. Well, the queen, Princess Peach, thought it was her divine right to be princess, but you know what happened to her? I killed her. Maria Renard, that's what she said. Maria Renard is a revolutionary, anti-monarchist, and this is the exact type of opponent that she would be extremely effective and impassioned to take down. She has the killing mindset. I think she's gonna jump Peach by summoning like dozens of animals simultaneously to just tear her apart. I think the fact that she can kill death means that she could keep Peach from coming back to life. And I think that that's kind of all I really need. Like, she killed death. Bing, bang, boom. I win. Jury, comment. What are you thinking?
Oh, wow. This is... I was surprised by how much... Like, I knew there was a decent amount of stuff in Castlevania, but there's a lot. I think I'll go Maria.
Yeah.
Just because, honestly, just because, I guess just because she uses like less items somewhat, I think. And it's going to be a very stally battle, stalling each other out, essentially, as far as I can tell.
fair. That's
Mm,
fair.
mm.
We got one for Maria. What are you
I-
thinking?
I've been on the fence the entire time, going back and forth throughout the arguments, but so I think Peach has the edge, but besides that, I think the stats are very even, or Maria takes it, and the fact that Maria was able to like literally kill death and kind of nullifies some of the other things being brought up. Like the revives and stuff that Peach has. I'm kind of gonna give it to Maria. Also, this is a Mario character, and last time I checked, Maria dies in Sonic the Hedgehog, so I think she's okay in this fight.
I don't quite understand that last argument, but it's a vote for me, so I don't care. Uh, I'll
That,
end.
that last bit was a joke.
Yeah, it's. I feel like if Maria dies, wouldn't that mean Maria loses here because she dies? But you already voted for me. It's too late. We're going with. I'll end the poll. The poll did vote for Peach.
That's twice now.
Man,
It's 2-for-1, where the community is on Kai's side. All right, now that I have won, I can unveil my dirty laundry, which is that I think
Uh-oh.
that I think Mario's probably stronger than Castlevania. I think you can argue a lot for both of their cosmologies, but I think Castlevania tends to be a lot more flowery, and I think Mario's probably just more solid in general. So I think Peach is. If they're not equal, then I'd probably say Peach is probably stronger. I think the stuff with like the infinite corridor and chaos being like conceptual scaling to AP is very like interpretation based and very iffy. But so I think, yeah, I would say that I think I genuinely don't know who would win because I think there's a lot to like look into this. I would just say like if everything All Heart said about the cosmology of Mario is legit, then I think like Peach would have like the strength advantage, which would be a really big hindrance.
I also think that like the invulnerability, like not even like the regen negation is like potentially like really big. The massive amounts of invulnerability that Peach has is huge. Like I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember you bringing up anything that could get around the white Tanuki.
I think the thing with like invulnerability is that invulnerability is also like always like context based. Like if you're like just way stronger, would invulnerability still work? If they're like similar in stats, like is invulnerability like a durability thing or a hacks thing? It's kind of
It's a durability thing,
like,
and like it works against beings like Bowser.
Yeah, because it's just like in Castlevania, like technically, like every single monster is like immune to normal damage. So it's like, does that count as negating invulnerability? Because theoretically, like everything's kind of invulnerable to Castlevania. It's a bit tricky. I am happy I did so many hours of research for this one. Here's the thing is like I did so much hours for Castlevania, I did not get to all of it. There is so much. Like the stuff with the infinite corridor and like the abyss and chaos I wanted to look into more, but there's just like so much to look into in trying to figure this out.
I need you to understand how upset I am. I played Color Splash and Super Princess Peach for this.
Good.
I played two of the worst games that Nintendo has ever produced for this cast.
I don't know about the worst.
They're up there.
I was about to say there's a lot of shovelware Nintendo
Here's the
games.
problem. I don't like Color Splash. I think it's an insult to what Mario RPGs are. But on top of that, Super Princess Peach is one of the most sexist games I've ever played in my life.
The vibe set.
100%.
I forgot about that one.
I
Oh,
played through that game for this.
oh my god. Oh,
I'm
The
on a
torture-
3 losing streak now.
It's all right. You'll
Oh,
come back
man.
with. Do you have anything coming up?
I got Donkey Kong King Kong coming up at some point soon.
Oh.
That could
Other
maybe
than that,
go
I don't
either
know
way.
if I have. I don't. Other than that, I don't know if I have any other that are planned at the moment.
You're
I
taking
think
a
there was a-
vacation. You're taking a break. You've had enough of our bullshit.
Oh my god. Let me check claim matchups because I could have sworn I've claimed a few. You got Kane versus Alistair. I know these aren't scheduled, but
Yeah.
I gotta talk to
um
Pin about that.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
in TMNT versus Ninjago earlier today, we already talked about like the upcoming. I guess I can like rapid fire through them, which is Hood versus Diavolo is Tuesday the 25th. Adam Smasher versus Frank Corrigan, also Tuesday the 25th. Makuta Pterodax versus Darth Sidious, August 27th, Thursday. Goku versus Sonic, Thursday on the 27th. Saul didn't want to mention this, which was Ida versus Crow, is tentatively planned for October 1st, which will be
My
a couple of
birthday.
days after the Owl House graphic novel finally drops. I guess as if you're here still, I can say we're tentatively planning a couple for September, which is we don't know the exact days, but for September we're looking at Knuckles versus Lucario, Star Lord versus Fox McCloud, Noble Team from Halo Reach versus the Bad Batch from Star Wars, and yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at for some of the stuff we're trying to do for September.
Yeah. Weren't we in talks for the Universal Monsters Battle Royale at some point?
I think we're maybe thinking of doing
Soon?
that in Halloween time. It's uncertain.
Yeah, I'm on vacation. That's the only reason I'm asking in October.
We'll definitely get to it at some point. It's just, which ones do we do now?
Yeah.
Which ones do we do later?
Hey, I've sat through the Creature of the Black Lagoon musical for that, so I've already been. I know that isn't as worse as that Princess Peach game, but like, bro, that musical was a rough watch. Holy fuck, it's so fucking bad. Who greenlit? Let's give the Creature of the Black Lagoon a dude surfer boy like voice.
I mean, that kind of sounds perfect.
Oh, it's so bad though. It's so bad. It has the craziest stuff though for that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I cut you off if anything. But I think All Heart, we've used up enough of his time today. Thank you everyone for watching this. I think Kai did a phenomenal job. I also did a great job. I did so many hours of research. This is a very, very fun time. Thank you all for watching. I think we showed off that while Mario versus Castlevania might not be the first series combo a lot of people think of, there is a lot of very interesting parallels and discussions to be had with the power interactions. And
It
I think
works.
Peach versus Maria feels a lot better than something like Dracula versus Bowser, which I have
Mario
seen.
versus Simon.
Maybe Mario
I was about
versus...
to say that. Baby Mario. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.